And I'm back with Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, Justice for Trials and fucking. The reason I'm so flustered is the episode I thought I'd recorded turned off on me, and I recorded an entire episode while I wasn't recording. And by the time I found out, as you guys can tell, every time I finish an episode, I save over it. Welp. So, as a refresher, so things aren't, so we don't lose it. How do I go about this? So as a refresher, I talked to Ron. He was told that he gets heist plans from an unknown source since his first heist. We also talked to Miss Andrews about the sacred urn, and we found out it was a legitimate urn. So we ended up finding out that she dropped the box that contained the urn, and it splashed into the pink paint. She put it back together as the sacred urn of Mistress Ami, and now we're going to put all the pieces back into place and do the thing. I'm fairly sure that's pretty accurate. I really wish I had recorded that, but what can you do? Hey, Nick. What is it this time? You won't believe how many people were in the trial. No, it's a murder case. What are you talking about? They're here for the trial next door. Next door? Why don't you know this, Nick? They're having the Detective Atmy's trial today. They say they're gonna try him as Mask the Mask. Already? That was fast. I'd like to see his trial. I know. By the way, where's Pearls? She went back home. She said she can't neglect her training anymore. I know you don't like me. Pearls has really gotten into her training lately. Ever since the incident. Please! Don't ignore me! Oh, Mr. DeLite, good morning. No one likes me. No one would notice me even if I killed someone. Come on, don't be silly. Wait a minute. You don't mean you're the murderer? No, I'm just a poor thief! I can't really be that poor. Now I see. According to Mr. DeLite, from his second crime on, he was following a bunch of set plans. Well, good. At least they recapped everything. Plans that somebody else had been sending him to help him commit heists. Do you really think there's a connection between the thief and the murderer, Nick? It's possible, but today's trial is a race against the clock. How come? Let's just take our time. I'm afraid that's not an option. Yeah, because watch, I might screw up yet another episode and not have more data. Ugh. Pain in the ass. Court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Ron DeLite. The defense is ready, Your Honor. You're ready? Preparation is the last refuge of the weak. Okay, settle down. Let's begin with your opening statement. He's got the judge in his palm of his hand. Ron DeLite is simply too young to be sent to war, that's all. I'm afraid I have no idea what that means. Then you need to get out more. Life is war, but that's exactly why you must be more precise in your wording. That's all my statement means. You understand now, right? Well, let me briefly summarize the details. The judge is taking charge like he knows what's going on for a change. The victim is Kane Bullard, CEO of KB Security. His body was found in a safe at approximately 9 a.m. the morning of the 13th. However, the time of death was estimated 1 a.m. the previous day. And that's when our little lost kitten dropped the ball. That little lost kitten is, of course, Ron DeLite. Very well, please call your first witness. I never drink more than 17 cups of coffee during a given trial, but this first one is always the best. Mr. Godot, your witness? Okay then, let's hear what the defendant has to say for himself. The defendant? Does the defense have any objections? Maybe a bit of a disadvantage, say, having your defendant testify, but I remember when Mia was defending me. She always allowed me to testify so she could do the cross-examinations. She put a lot of trust in me back then. We have no objections, Your Honor. The defense will allow Mr. DeLite to testify. You've got guts. All right then, Mr. Ron DeLite, please take the stand. You did it, didn't you? Yes. What? No, that's not true. For a moment, I thought we were going to set the record for shortest trial ever. Well, he already looks plenty guilty with that face. And once he opens his big mouth, it's probably the last nail in our coffin. Very well. Now then, can you tell me something? If you didn't kill him, why did you go to KB Security? Well, kinda hard to say. Now then, let's hear some testimony about what happened. That evening around 1 a.m., I went to see Mr. Bullard in his office. The blackmail letter I got, it ordered me to go there. I'd been working for KB Security until a year ago, so I knew where the office was. 1 a.m., the exact time the murder took place. The weak get washed away by the tides of fate. The strong drink it up. It's too bitter today, just like my destiny. You'll never know that from the way he's chugging it down. Your cross-examination, if you please. Let's see, third, second. You used to be a security chief for KB Security, right? Yeah, that's right. A security chief? You? And yet, a year ago, you were fired without notice. Revenge for an old grudge? Perfect motive for murder, would you say? This isn't good. Maybe I should change the subject. Mr. DeLite, please tell us why you were fired from your job. Well, the world is filled with those who have said, I wish I had never asked that. Okay, then. Defendant, please answer the question. Well, I needed money. You needed money? Well, you see, Desi loves to spend it. It's kind of her hobby. Not exactly the best hobby in the world, huh, Nick? My salary wasn't nearly enough, so I stole data from the company. Come again? KB Security has a lot of security info on all sorts of companies, and since I was a security team chief, you stole some of the data and sold it. Mr. Bullard found out and I was fired immediately. What? I wish I'd never said that. I was somehow able to keep it secret and made it seem like I quit on my own. What is it, Nick? You don't look so good. Someone who brings harm to their company is fired as punishment. You do well to remember that. He sure told you. So you admit you stole data from your company, is that correct? Yes, I'm sorry. This is a very important fact. Add it to your testimony. Oh man, this thing just took a turn for the worse, crashed and blew up. It's gonna take the jaws of life to rip this case. It ordered you there? It was the first time I'd gotten a blackmail letter that ordered me to go somewhere. What do you mean, you've gotten blackmail letters before? No, of course. They said stuff like, why don't you just say that later? Don't say anymore. What did I do? So what did the blackmail say, anyway? It said bring $50,000. Money. A perfect motive for committing murder. Wait! I never intended to pay that money anyway. After all, he has nothing to hold over my head. I have nothing to be afraid of. An important point. Witness, let's have that added to your testimony. Muddy Mud Skipper in our space has a better chance of surviving than I do. Goddamn phone. It's not one thing, it's another today, I swear. Added third statement. That's wrong. Say yes. Just what were you being blackmailed about anyway? The blackmail letter said if you don't want your identity revealed, correct? I'm sure he was referring to the whole mask-to-mask thing. I'm afraid that reason isn't going to hold up anymore. What do you mean? The victim had no proof that the defendant was mask-to-mask, but you were the one who stole company secrets 1 year ago. But that was all over once I was fired. But it is true the fact I stole secrets that kept it under wraps. Even so, there was no reason for me to pay up a whole year later. Is that really true? What is it, Nick? The fact Ronnie was stealing company secrets. I wonder if there would have been a problem if you knew it would become public knowledge. Mr. DeLite, I believe you would have been in considerable trouble if your identity as a thief had been made public. Mr. Wright, what are you trying to do by bullying your own client? Men are like colonies of bacteria. The more heat you apply, the faster they grow. That's exactly right. Well, feel free to keep up the heat, little amigo. Little lawyer amigo? Come on. Provide some evidence to back up your assertion. Why would Mr. DeLite want to keep stealing secrets from going public? Mr. DeLite, what you said just now doesn't match what you told me yesterday. Huh? What doesn't? I think you must have been scared, very scared, of having a certain person find out your secret. A certain person? Miss Desiree DeLite, the defendant's wife. But listen to me, my Desi, she's... Looks like if I just sit back and relax, the fun will truly end before it begins. Yes, we know. It's all your wife's fault. What do you mean? Mr. DeLite stole company data to pay for his spending habits, for which he was fired. Unable to face his own wife, someone used that dirty little secret to blackmail her. And that's how this murder came about. Everything's falling into place for him. Don't talk about my Desi like that, or you'll be sorry! Well, it seems we've learned a great deal of things here so far. What do you think, Nick? I don't think it's possible to get so thoroughly whipped in just 20 minutes. Clearly, there was sufficient motive for murder. He stole data for his wife and he killed to protect his secret. A family man who cared a little too much. The motive's clear. Let's move on. What happened at the crime scene at 1 in the morning? Come on now. Tell us. We're all ears. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious, shadowy figure. Suddenly, I was hit on the forehead, and after that, I remember being dazed. If I hadn't been wearing that, I would have been killed. When I came to, Mr. Bullard was lying there dead! I see. Suddenly hit on the forehead, huh? I believe the detective from yesterday provided similar testimony. He said that Mask-to-Mask struck him on the head from behind. Of course, since he turned out to be the culprit himself, that was a lie. No one's going to believe a pathetic lie like that. What are you saying? I was really attacked. We'll find out if what you say is true or not during cross-examination. Got that, Mr. Trite? Don't go easy just because he's your client. If I see any sign that you are, I'll treat you to another cup of my special blend. You don't need to worry about that, Mr. Godot. I have faith in Ron. I know he didn't do it. So, to make up for the fact that I messed up one recording, I'm going to split this into a couple of segments. It'll be the smart play. Because remember, I do have a schedule to keep. So hopefully this trial takes 3 sections, maybe? Maybe even 4 if I do them really small. But hey, I do have this episode lined up. I see the blinking light recording, so we're good there. But I'll see you next time.